Welcome to Entertainment Technology. I'm Jared Klyer. In this episode, I'm going to share with you 10 things you may not know about Q-Sys. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned pro, you'll probably get something out of this video. Note that all the examples you'll see were done in Q-Sys Designer 8.3.2. With that said, let's jump right in. Number 1. Your Q-Sys core can sync to NTP. The best way to see what's going on with your Q-Sys core is by checking out the log. What makes the log more useful, though, is if the dates and times are actually correct. To do this, head to the IP address of the core. On the left side, click Date and Time. On the top right corner, click Edit, then Enable Time Synchronization, and type in the IP address of your NTP server. Then click Save. Note you can also add more than one IP address if you have more servers. Number 2. Injecting audio to a component's input can change the previous component's output. Pay attention, because this one could save your sound system. I'm talking about how when you inject audio to a component's input, the output that component is wired to can get replaced with the audio you injected. In this example, I have two sine generators, one at 1K and the other at 80 Hz. If I connect the signal probe to the 80 Hz sine generator and inject it to the mixer input where the 1K tone is coming in, you'll notice that it also replaced the mixer input I didn't inject to. Some have made this mistake and let the smoke out of their speakers. Number 3. There's a secret backdoor to the core. Well, not really that secret. In the most recent versions of Q-Sys, they've moved a bunch of what was in the backdoor section into the main website of the core. The remaining pages are as follows. Enable FTP access. Head to the IP address of the core /storage_config.html to access the storage config page. Here you can enable FTP and set an admin password. PCAP capture. Next, to do a PCAP capture from the core, head to the IP address of the core /PCAP_capture.html. After you've run and downloaded your capture, you can import it into Wireshark for further analysis. Ping. Have you ever wanted to run a ping command from the core? Well, now you can. Just head to the IP address of the core /debug/network and ping like there's no tomorrow. Just don't ping so much that you DOS attack yourself. Design files. To access the last few designs that were on the core, just head to the IP address of the core /designs. You can also find the current design in the folder labeled, you guessed it, current design. Fun fact, if you download the design.idf file located in any of the design folders and change the .idf to .qsys, you can open it back up in Q-Sys Designer. Number 4. There's a hidden video reference input. No, there's not a BNC connector hidden on the back panel or inside. It's called PTP, but it requires an external master clock that's providing video reference to your video playback devices. Many manufacturers out there have fantastic clocks, but the best ones usually use GPS as their reference, and then provide PTP, NTP, and multiple flavors of video reference out. Number 5. The control frames of Q-Sys can sync to video reference. Did you ever wish your Q-Sys core could react to commands that you send it on the video frame edge? It's fairly well known that the Q-Sys core frame clock runs at 30 frames per second, but it typically aligns to when the core first started up. The control frame clock can sync to an external master clock that's providing PTP to your Q-Sys core, and is also providing 30 frames per second video reference to your video servers. This then allows you to command your Q-Sys core on the frame edge. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please consider subscribing, and while you're there, hit that like button. It really helps me to continue providing quality content like this. Number 6. The buried bin loop audio player. If you know where to look, you may stumble across the bin loop audio player. This player was built to keep looping a multi-channel audio file until you told it to play something different at the end of the current loop. It does lack features like shuttle or seeking into the file, but for simple looping it does a decent job. Check out the links below for a file you can download that has the bin loop in it. Number 7. QRC, a powerful control protocol. If you happen to look through the Q-Sys help file, you may find the Q-Sys Remote Control Protocol. It's a TCP JSON RPC based protocol that's available on port 1710. The main difference between this protocol and Q-Sys External Control Protocol is that with QRC, all you have to do is name your component to access any control inside of it. To see all of the items you can control inside of a component, simply name your component, select it, and then click on Tools, View Component Controls Info. Number 8. There's an audio player that can trigger on the millisecond. It's called the loop player, and it's actually a very powerful audio player. This player doesn't look like much on the surface, but if you know how to control it using QRC, which I just mentioned earlier, you can start audio tracks on the millisecond. Note that this player only plays back mono wave files, but you can play back up to 128 of them in sync. This player also allows you to loop, play next, and seek into the audio files. It also allows you to trigger using LTC or UTC for time on target playback. Number 9. There's another audio player that can sync to LTC. This one's called the timeline player, and the best feature of this one is that it can scrub with LTC. This player feels more like a DAW than an audio player. It allows you to place your audio tracks on the timeline and then play the entire timeline synced to LTC, or free running. It also allows you to place markers on the timeline to trigger events outside the player. Number 10. You can create your own modules. Can't find a component that does exactly what you want? You can create a plugin. A plugin can be a combination of components and Lua scripting that you put together to accomplish a specific task. The biggest difference between a plugin and a user component is that the plugin doesn't show any subcomponents. They're all hidden from the user. Plugins can be very powerful. Check out our other episodes for more information on plugins. I hope you liked watching this video. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And while you're there, hit the like button too. Thanks for watching.